Hi, Lynnae.
Hi, Cassie.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, baby. You look so cute.
I, you like my
I
bandana?
love your
I'm in the Long
bandana.
Beach, the LBC.
Did I tell you about the time I worked on a movie that Snoop Dogg was on and one of the base camp PAs? I can't remember if it was red or blue, but the base camp
Oh
PA was
no.
wearing a bandana that was the wrong color for
Oh
Snoop. And he was like, before I come out of my trailer, I need that guy to not be wearing that
no,
color. Yeah.
no.
Yeah. He was like, I'm not coming
Oh.
out.
Anyway, why are we here today? What are we here talking about today, Lynnae, Duley, with both of our bandanas
Today we're
on? We got
talking
to give the people some information.
Today we're talking about oily, combating
The
the
combat of the
combat of the
oil,
oil,
the T
the war
zone,
on
the
oil.
scalp zone. Um, I know that I have to wash my hair literally every single day or it turns into a grease ball
Oh,
central. So
really?
I know
Okay.
that that is probably a battle that you guys are constantly having to deal with
Sure, yeah.
is getting someone to look like they've got camera ready hair, tousled, sexy beach waves, and then they've got a grease pit
It's
in their
real.
scalp.
It's real.
What do you do?
It's real. And people are also, I'm sure are dealing with this with skin as well. If people coming in with either naturally oil skin or they're putting things on their skin that makes it extra oily, which is also what we're dealing with. I can't tell you how many times I've been in some kind of background corral and background actors come in who have just like dipped their hair in coconut oil when they
I have seen
it's
background people
wild.
come in slathered head to toe in Vaseline.
Oh, God
And
bless.
that's just, some people
It's a
just have their
real
routines. And so
trending
then we're
TikTok
like
right now.
literally scraping off the layers to try to get them to not shine like a cue ball on
Yeah,
camera in the
yeah.
background. So what are some, dry shampoo is tricky. Are we just talking about dry shampoos so that we can, what do you just spray it in and then towel it out? What do
Well,
you do? It gets all
I
white and weird
I
looking.
should have pulled more out, but there's different dry shampoos and texture. I really like texture spray for this reason too. It kind of has
Oh,
it depends on the brand, and all have different formulas. Right now, I just pulled out Sam McKnight's dry shampoo and one of his texture sprays. I really love
okay.
these. They're harder to get and they're more expensive, but they smell really
Oh
good and they work
no.
really well. It's lightweight, but it does the job. I really
If
love
it
them.
works well, I'll pay for it.
Honestly,
How much is it though?
it's so
Curious.
good. Well, I want to say it's over $30 for each one, maybe 40. Um, but they're really good. They smell kind of leathery. They're very like almost masculine kind of smelling. Um, but it depends on the hair. So if somebody has like really fine blonde hair, uh, Chlorine, the brand, is a really great one.
Oh,
They sell it at Nigel's Friends. Also the yeah,
chlorine.
chlorine.
I heard chlorine, like
I'm
pool
saying
chlorine.
it.
I'm like,
I'm
why is
saying it
there a brand of
incorrectly.
hair products that? Okay,
I am saying it
chlorine with a
incorrectly.
K.
Yeah, with a
Chlorine.
K.
Yes, I totally know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Got you.
that's a really nice one,
Wow,
especially for blondes. I said it wrong.
chlorine hair products. That's the
But a
worst
lot of it
idea.
too is in application. You have to like lift it,
Yes.
give yourself a wide spray,
Yeah.
not getting it too close, or you're going to shoot it right into the scalp. It's going to get,
Right.
you want to start in the back kind of thing, see how it's going to come out. But also knowing your different kinds of brands is going to help. You can blow dry it in to help kind of like brush it in as well. There's different steps with that. But when I'm working on background, especially if it's a modern show or if you can make it appropriate to like just pull their hair back really tight or up on top of their head
There you go.
just to get them in
Why
and out of
chase it?
there,
Just
because
slick.
there's no
Yeah.
amount of dry shampoo that's going to cover coconut oil.
Right. True.
But then when it's your own actor, when you're talking about somebody who's like absolutely going to be on camera, it's a whole other thing. But then you have a relationship with that person. You're talking about what their hair is looking like, what we're doing, what's already being used in it, what
Right.
are they using for shampoo, conditioner, etc.
That first assessment is like really important when you're working with an actor in the trailer. You want to figure out like what kind of skin routine are they on? Are they having any issues with anything? What's going on with their hair? Do they get, yeah. So, evaluating right off the bat, do you recommend usually a shampoo and a conditioner that you want to send your actor home with, or do they usually always have something that they love? Like what's your strategy?
Either one. I ask them what they're using. I ask them how they're feeling about it. I tell them how I'm feeling about what their hair is doing right now and what it's going to do for the style that we're using or the styles that we're going to be going into. And then we can go from there. So
What
either
about like protecting it? What if they're getting, glue in their hair from bald caps and prosthetics? We kind of have to work in a symbiotic relationship here to keep things, keep that actor's hair
Mhm.
safe and protected. So yeah, that's we
Yeah,
got to work together on that one.
either sending them home with a leave-in conditioner or like a deep conditioner or putting it in their hair if they're going to be under a wig. You can put it in their hair when they're under the wig. Yeah, all the above.
Yeah, I've assisted and painstakingly removed bits of glue and product like from each
Yeah,
individual hair.
totally.
It's
Same.
tedious. So, and all of that is connected to all of this too. So I'm making jokes
Well,
about
and
people showing up with
sometimes
like
we're
Vaseline
using
all over their face, but
sometimes
yeah,
we're
like we
using
really,
oily removers. So then
yes.
we have to go back and reverse the oily. Yeah, so it's all kind of
The mirror state products, yeah. So in terms of like moving down to the face area, sometimes chasing oil, I know that a lot of people don't realize too that half of the battle of someone overproducing oil is because their skin's actually like dehydrated.
right.
So you probably need to recommend that they get on like a good skincare regimen. But just for the simple fact of like today's conversation talking about how to like combat oil on camera without building up a lot of product, I have a few things that I know have worked for me. One, I always prep someone's skin with a little Bioderma or a little bit of Evian. Evian, these are essential to keep in your kit. Everybody always has
Yeah.
them. It feels good when you're out in the heat and you want to give yourself a little mist. But really and truthfully, when I'm alternating between, a mattifier, maybe a little powder, a little blot paper, and you back and forth for 12, 13, 14 hours, at some point during the day, I'm going to want to do a light mist of Evian with a sponge and kind of buff it all down and maybe like break things down a little bit so I can rework and go back in with like a little foundation and freshen up a look, maybe in, after lunch touch-ups or something, or just if something gets built up on set. So, generally the main things that I keep are, oil control papers. I will keep one of my favorite mattifiers. It's a Mayron. I don't have it with me right now. I'm going to show you a picture. They have light, medium, and dark. And you can get these at the, Nigel's, all those places. This is the Mayron Touch Up Anti Shine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just kind of like swipe a little in the hot spots. Don't want it to build up too much. Like I said, if it builds up a little bit, use a little Evian to kind of buff it out. And then the Visiora, they have different, translucent powders and different tints. So basically, those are like the main things. Like you can also, mattify with a powder, but I feel like sometimes that just starts to build up too
Mm-hmm.
much. So when I want someone to have, really matte skin and I don't want them to have makeup, another thing that PPI makes is a matting spray. These shake up. You can spray them into like a little palette and take a little brush or a sponge and just like swipe it on. And that is probably my number one defense for shine right there.
Mm-hmm.
They have a translucent one. This one, I feel like this is a little bit old. When I got my union days, I was on a show working underneath Karen Faye. She was Michael Jackson's makeup artist for like 30 years. She had them add mocha pigment to this. This says sample only, not for resale. That's how old this is. I think they actually make this mocha pigment now.
That's
But
cool.
we had actors like kind of like a sitcom setting with hot lights on their heads, all mainly primarily black actors. And so when those lights hit, she was like, y'all get up on this. So she had PPI. We use these, and you would just take like a little, just work it in. And I mean, I'm dulled down. So
Interesting.
when
Yeah.
you need like a next form of defense for like maybe a prosthetic piece or like a little lace piece, or if you just need to go to town on someone's face and really matte them down, the PPI products, the high def matting sprays, these are amazing
Cool.
and a must have for your kit. So, there's a million ways to Sunday, but the main thing is, properly prep someone's skin, make sure that they're hydrated when you send them home at the end of the day. Make sure their skin is clean in the morning. Sometimes we put on a little too much skincare in the morning, so I just will kind of tone it down a little bit with Bioderma or the Evian, and then just kind of go back and forth between mattifiers, blot papers, and a little translucent powder.
Cool.
And I mean, that's the dance we do all day long.
Yeah.
Is just keeping them looking perfect, and it's a challenge, but that's why we get paid the big bucks, right?
I
We
guess
we
so.
know we always want to hear about new things and new products that help us do a better job.
Well,
Keep our actors looking good
also
on
speaking
camera.
of
So
mattifier, I've been using this Dr. Feelgood balm when for lace.
okay, I've never heard of that. That's amazing. We
Yeah.
got about 30 seconds left, but
Yeah,
tell
but
me
I,
quickly
I
all about
think
it.
it might be discontinued, so I'd love to hear what other people are suggesting. This was just recommended to me when I first started working with like high definition lace, and I've just had it in my kit the whole time. But I don't know.
And there was like a Mac one, the black tube
Yeah,
that Mac
but I
made.
don't. I'd
And
love
I
to hear
don't
more
know
of
if
what
they
other
make anymore.
people are
What
using.
is everybody using? I mean, we could
Tell
continue
us.
this conversation forever about shine control and mattifiers, but you guys, check out the show notes, comment, and let us know what you want to talk about for next week, and
Follow us
we'll
on
talk again soon.
Instagram. Give us great reviews on the podcast.